Every generation has a fighter who defines greatness. In the 1960s, that greatness had a name, Muhammad Ali. Not just celebrated for his victories, but for the magic. The way he floated, the way he smiled, the way he made impossible feats look like poetry in motion. But that magic, it wasn't born, it was forged in fire, with pain, sacrifice, and relentless obsession. He was sculpted in the darkness before dawn, programmed for perfection, obsessed with proving he was truly the greatest. Every minute of his life was built around one purpose: to prove that willpower could overcome any obstacle. Ali didn't just train harder than anyone. He trained with the conviction of a man fighting for his very soul. This wasn't training, this was alchemy. This isn't just a story about boxing workouts, it's the anatomy of a legend, a deep dive into the revolutionary training system that took a loudmouth kid from Louisville and turned him into the most iconic athlete the world has ever seen. This is Muhammad Ali's secret training routine that built the greatest. Welcome to Street Fight Science. The beginning. To understand the legend Muhammad Ali became, you have to start at the very beginning. Born Cassius Clay in segregated Louisville, Kentucky, he wasn't born with a silver spoon. He was born with fire in his eyes and something to prove. The spark came from a stolen bicycle. A 12-year-old Clay stormed into a police station, demanding justice. The officer on duty, Joe Martin, saw something special. He didn't see an angry kid. He saw raw, untapped athletic genius. But beneath the confidence was a deep insecurity, a fear of failure that would fuel his entire career. Then came Angelo Dundee. He wasn't just a trainer. He was a psychological mastermind who understood that Ali's mind was his ultimate weapon. Dundee's philosophy was revolutionary. Don't change the masterpiece, just frame it better. Where others saw flaws in Ali's style, the hands too low, the constant movement, Dundee saw revolutionary genius. He understood that boxing wasn't just about hitting, it was about thinking 3 steps ahead while making it all look like magic. The 4:30 a.m. revolution. While most champions were sleeping, Muhammad Ali was already winning the day. 4:30 a.m. Not 5, not 6, 4:30. While the world slept, Ali was lacing up his boots, not running shoes, but heavy combat boots that turned every step into resistance training. This wasn't just running. This was mobile psychological warfare. Through the freezing darkness of Deer Lake, Pennsylvania, Ali would run, with cars trailing behind him, their headlights illuminating his path. But he wasn't running in silence. He was chanting, rhyming, programming his mind with every step. "I'm so mean! I make medicine sick!" he'd shout into the darkness. This wasn't bragging. This was neural reprogramming. While his opponents dreamed of victory, Ali was already building his in the real world. After the run came the calisthenics that would break most men. 500 push-ups, but not just any push-ups. Diamond push-ups for tricep endurance. Wide grip for the chest power behind his famous jabs. And then the neck bridges. 100 reps, front and back, building the iron neck that would save him against Foreman's brutal assaults. But the real secret wasn't in the numbers. It was in the intention. Every movement had a purpose. Every repetition was about building functional boxing strength, not muscles. The dancing laboratory. Now we enter the laboratory where athleticism was transformed into art. Ali's gym wasn't a place of brute force. It was a think tank where strategy met execution. The heavy bag work wasn't about power, it was about rhythm. While other heavyweights planted and punched, Ali danced around the bag. He threw combinations while moving, training his body to strike while never being a target. 10 rounds, 3 minutes each, at a pace that would exhaust most modern fighters in 3. The speed bag wasn't just for hands, it was for the mind. That hypnotic rhythm built neural pathways between his hands and eyes, creating the hand speed that made his combinations seem like magic. But the real magic happened in the mirror. Ali installed a full-length mirror and would shadowbox for 12 rounds straight. He analyzed every movement, every feint, every subtle weight transfer. If his reflection showed even the slightest imperfection, he'd drill that movement until it disappeared. This wasn't vanity. This was mastery. Then came the rope skipping. 20 minutes of pure footwork genius. Not just basic jumps, but complex patterns that directly translated to ring movement. The alley shuffle wasn't born in the ring. It was born in thousands of hours of rope work. The sparring wars. But the real education happened in sparring, and this is where Ali's training became legendary. Ali would regularly face multiple fresh opponents in single sessions, not to build endurance, but to solve different fighting puzzles under fatigue. Big, plodding fighters to prepare for Liston, swift boxers to prepare for Patterson, relentless pressure fighters to prepare for Frazier. These sessions were so intense they became the stuff of legend. Partners would leave the gym mentally broken, having faced the psychological storm that was Ali in his prime. He wouldn't just spar, he would experiment, testing new strategies, practicing the psychological warfare that would become his trademark. The most famous example? The rope-a-dope wasn't invented in Zaire against Foreman. It was perfected over hundreds of rounds in Deer Lake. Ali had sparring partners pound his body against the ropes until they exhausted themselves. What looked like desperation in the ring was actually a meticulously rehearsed strategy, years in the making. The mind of the greatest. What truly separated Muhammad Ali wasn't his physical gifts. It was his mental programming. Angelo Dundee crafted a psychological conditioning system as sophisticated as any modern sports science. Visualization was Ali's secret weapon. For hours daily, he would sit in complete silence, mentally rehearsing fights down to the smallest detail. He wouldn't just see himself winning. He would feel the canvas, hear the crowd, sense the moment his opponent broke psychologically. His predictions weren't just boasts. They were psychological warfare of the highest order. By publicly declaring how he would win, he was programming his own mind for success while planting seeds of doubt in his opponents. But the real mental edge came from his ability to weaponize his insecurities. That fear of failure, he turned it into relentless preparation. The critics who said he was just a loudmouth, he used their doubt as fuel. Every insult, every doubt, every prediction of his failure became energy that powered his training. While opponents dealt with normal pre-fight nerves, Ali entered every fight with absolute certainty. Not hope, not belief, but knowledge that he would win. This mental edge was worth more than any physical advantage. The legacy. Muhammad Ali's training proves one undeniable truth. Greatness isn't born, it's built, day by day, rep by rep. 4:30 a.m. alarm by 4:30 a.m. alarm. The real lesson isn't about boxing. It's about what happens when human potential meets a relentless work ethic, when natural talent gets systematic development, when willpower becomes your greatest weapon. The blueprint is here. The question is, what version of greatness are you building in your own life? What 4:30 a.m. discipline are you bringing to your craft? What psychological barriers are you systematically destroying? If you're ready to apply these principles to your own transformation, your journey continues right now. Subscribe because next, we're breaking down how Bruce Lee's training methods can make you untouchable in any confrontation. The greatest proved it's possible. The rest is up to you.